We have a new, can you hear me now? Okay, we have a new addition to the Tamarind family. Everyone welcome my new amplifier. First time it's seen the light of day today. So apologies. Typically, I'm not the last person to arrive at most events. And in fact, if one of the other Tamarind guys did this to me, I would be very upset. So do apologize. Do apologies to everyone. Yes. Yeah. I'll hear about it afterwards. They're being very polite right now. But before we really get underway, I just want to thank everyone that was involved in putting this together, and in fact, the next event that's coming up next month. Harun and Mahin, you all know, if you've not met them, nicest people on the planet, the backbone of Tamarind. What just happened? Exhaust went off. Oh, that's lovely. And Farman and Shabana, the one who just announced that the exhaust went off. And Asfar, where's your better half? Fawzia. I'm introducing the Tamarind people. For those of you that have come for the first time, how many people are here for the first time to a Tamarind thing? Oh, a sizable number. Excellent. And last but not least, Kamran. Kamran, as you may not know, is still single, ladies, if anybody's interested. And of course, my own long-suffering wife, Sharmeen, right here in the front. And it's because of her that we're late today. No. That's not true. That's not true. But anyway, so I was asked to introduce the truly amazing guests that we have with us today. We have three remarkably distinguished men that, between the three of them, have seen the world in substantially greater detail than any of us could ever hope to. In the context of Pakistan, this is yet again a very sad day. As some of you might have heard, something horrific happened in Peshawar today at a church. These animals exploded bombs that led to the demise of in excess of 55 people that were killed and 78. I haven't checked the news in a few hours. So these are the realities of the times that we live in. We have a unique situation that exists here for us. We left Pakistan years ago. I did 13 years ago. And we left primarily because things were just going in the wrong direction, and we needed to do something for the sake of our families to raise them in a more civilized setting. But this wasn't always the Pakistan that we knew. The Pakistan of my own childhood was a very hopeful place. Some of you weren't there when I was a child, but it was a hopeful place. There was seemingly a future that people were aspiring to. There was good things going on. There was education, and there was science, and there was employment, and an overall forward-looking outlook, which suggested that the future would indeed be substantially better than what it turned out to be. I think the decline started fairly early on, though. As soon as Jinnah died, the country started taking on more and more of an Islamic aura. And things came to a head during the early 70s when I was still in grade school. And during Bhutto's time, they outlawed the Ahmadis, banned alcohol. And this was, for me, this was Karachi, where Karachi was a very dignified, very civilized place. There was tremendous opportunities for entertainment. Some of the best nightclubs on the planet were in Karachi. And not that that is anything to be particularly boastful about, but this level of sophistication implies overall goodness, where there's enough freedom for people to be able to do what they would like to do. But that was Bhutto, and then obviously the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, followed by this monster that ruled Pakistan for 11 years, Ziaul Haq, Islamized Pakistan to the extent that just about every minority in Pakistan became defenseless. And the manifestations of that are to be seen on a daily basis, exemplified just today by what happened in Peshawar. And this is not the first time this has happened. Those of us that are here that lived through 1947 and the calamity that was for the people of the subcontinent, this is nothing really new. It just so happens that I've a dear friend, Mala Gupta, her father, is here with us today. I'm very thankful that you could come. He is from Peshawar. He was born in Peshawar, grew up in Peshawar, went to school in Peshawar, and then 1947 happened and he had to go. He had to leave. Sitting next to him is Rakesh, like a brother to me, from Lahore. His grandfather, his father, lawyers in Lahore. Very well-to-do, established family, had to go away. And the exact same thing was happening on the other side of the border. My ancestors are all buried in North India, in Bihar and in UP. So when my father left, it was with a very heavy heart that he left behind all of what made him. The shoulders that he stood on were gone. They were left behind. But even when all of that was happening, there was hope that this would translate in the longer term into goodness. But that hasn't really happened. If you look at it from a macro perspective, growing up in Karachi, we used to go to India for hunting. And I haven't been to India since the early 90s, but when you went from Karachi to Bombay, you felt like you had gone back in time. And with all due respect, this is what it was. Karachi was that much more prosperous a place. And if you've been, you would know what I'm talking about. The magnitude of poverty that you saw in India did not exist in Pakistan. And 20 years go down, it's the exact opposite what you see now. In Pakistan, there was this saying during Ayub Khan's time that जब कुत्ते को भौंकने का दिल चाहता है तो वो इंडिया जाता है और जब रोटी चाहिए होती है तो वो पाकिस्तान आता है. Because in India there were some freedoms that didn't exist in Pakistan. You could speak your mind in India for the most part, but in Pakistan there's no freedom of speech during the military dictatorship, but yet there was prosperity and there was education and there was a future and so on. But I could go on. But it's come to this. So Shamim was telling me that we should have a moment of silence for what happened in Peshawar today. But, if we do moments of silence, which are largely meaningless acts of nothingness, we should really be quiet. Our heads should hang in shame for what is going on in that country. So here we have this young man who, for God knows what reason, likes to go to Pakistan on a regular basis. And then he goes there, and based on his experiences there, he writes a book. Well, one of them, he's written several now, but one of them is alive and well in Pakistan. That's quite an achievement, to be alive and well in Pakistan. Simultaneously, typically it may not happen simultaneously. So many of you have probably heard of Ethan. He's come a long way. And is in the process of reworking some of his previous works, republishing them, and so on. And we asked him to come join us today so he could share with us his own perspective of what it is that he's seen in Pakistan and why he thinks there is reason for hope for people that are from there or people, more importantly, that live there. So Ethan Casey, everyone.
Actually, in all seriousness, I don't